What's up, guys? It's Devin here. This is really bad. Did you know that the average household debt in America is over $104,000 according to Business Insider? And did you also know that the average household income in 2024 is only $77,000? That means that the average American owes way more in debt than they actually have in income pre-tax, which is insane. And here's the craziest part, is most people will tell you to get out of debt, use your savings in order to do that. Pay extra on your debt in order to get it paid off quicker. Here's the problem with that. So here's the problem. 25 cents out of every dollar that the average American makes goes towards automobiles. And 30 cents out of every dollar goes towards housing, rent, mortgages, and whatnot. 40 cents out of every dollar that the average American makes goes towards everything else. So we're talking about food, we're talking about clothing, we're talking about entertainment. That only leaves 10 cents out of every dollar for the average American to take and either go make more money with it, so to invest it, or to simply pay off their debt. There is a better way to do it, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how in this video. First, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. Hit the bell so you get notified whenever I put out these videos. It really helps out the channel. And any questions you guys have, make sure to comment them. I will make sure to get back to you. Let's jump right into the solution of how America can get out of debt without having to work any harder, without having to work any longer, by simply just doing one thing. Let's check it out. All right, now for this to work, three things have to happen. Very simple. You first have to pay yourself first. We've always been taught to pay everybody else first and then pay ourselves. So pay all your bills, and then whatever's left over is yours to keep. Or you take that money and pay down your debts. It's the wrong way to do it. We've been taught the wrong ways to use money. So the first thing is pay yourself first. The second thing is pay yourself with interest. See, when we borrow from other people, banks mainly, for cars, for houses, student loans, credit cards, whatever it may be, we always pay them with interest without fail. So if we're going to pay somebody else with interest when we use their money, shouldn't we pay ourselves with interest if we're using our money? It only makes sense. So that's the second thing. The third thing is to recycle and recapture your money. Always have it flowing back to you. Think about what banks do. Banks get our deposits, they take those deposits and they lend them to other people. And those people pay that back with interest. The bank takes that money, it comes back to the bank. The bank then takes it and lends it out to more people. Those who will pay it back with interest, it comes back to the bank. The bank is always recycling and recapturing that money. So we want to mimic what banks do. If you do these three things, pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, and recycle and recapture your money, you can get out of debt so much faster. I'm going to show you guys a real life example of how that works. Let's check that out. So this is actually a client of ours who had all of these debts. We're talking about $478,000 worth of debts that they had. And you can see 21% interest, 11%, 3%, 21%, all this interest that's getting paid to the bank, to Discover, to Lowe's, to Nordstrom's. And they were paying all these debts on time every single month. And they were going to do what everyone is taught to do. Take their 10 cents out of every dollar, their savings, and pay these debts off faster. Here's what it came out to be. All these debts came out to almost $6,000 a month, almost $70,000 a year. If they took their savings, which was $25,000, and simply took that $25,000 and paid these debts off as they could, it would take this person 19 years to get all this debt paid off. So that's better than the time horizon it was going to be, but it's not anywhere close to how fast it can be if you change just one thing, okay? So let's talk about the right way to do it. So $25,000, that was the savings. Again, the thing you guys need to get around is step one, pay yourself first. So that 25 grand goes into a banking system, a system that you control. So this person put their 25 grand into this banking system. That money is guaranteed to compound and grow tax-free. It'll never be taxed. And it is guaranteed to grow. It'll never stop growing. Guaranteed. So of that 25 grand, this person had access to about 15,000 of it they could use right away without interrupting the $25,000 in compound growth. So paid himself first, 25 grand, into this banking system, took the basically 15 grand and paid off Discover, paid off Lowe's, and paid down Nordstrom's. So paid himself first. Now, what was step two? Pay yourself with interest. So think about this. This person was paying $161 a month to Discover, $287 to Lowe's. That was 21% interest to Discover and 11% to Lowe's. That $161 and that $287 is no longer there. The debt is paid off, but they're using their banking system. So they have to pay themselves with interest if they were paying the banks with interest. It's no different. It's just you're controlling who's getting the money. So this person simply just took what he was saving, which is, as you can see, $448 a month, and simply, step three, recaptured and recycled the money. So had it go back to his banking system, $448 a month. He was already paying that to Discover. He was already paying that to Lowe's. He's simply changing who's getting the money. It's now he's getting the money in his banking system. Okay? So year two, again, pays himself first. His savings, $25,000 goes into his banking system. And look, he now has cash value that he can use of $16,000 and some change. It went up because remember, it's guaranteed to grow. So he can use that $16,000 plus the money that he was recapturing and saving back to his banking system. $448 a month is $5,300 a year. So he's now got almost $22,000. He's going to pay off Nordstrom's, pay off Wells Fargo, pay off his private loan, and pay down his BMWs. So look at all that he's actually able to recapture now. $276, which was 3% interest, $271, which was 21%, and $922, which was 10%. So now he's recapturing $1,900 a month. He's not spending anymore. He's just keeping what he was once giving away. Does that make sense? So $1,917 a month, now he's recapturing it. So he's paid himself first, he's paying himself back with interest, and he's recapturing and recycling his money. So year three comes. $25,000, again, pays himself first into his banking system. And look at that. He's got access to more than what he just put in. That's the beauty of being your own bank, is that because the compound growth never stops, even though you're using money, it always is more the next year. You always have access to more because it never stops growing. So he's been recapturing $1,917 a month. That's $23,000. That means he's got access to $48,000. He's going to pay off the BMW, pay off the boat, pay down the condo, and now he can recapture $499 a month and $1,261 a month. So he's now recapturing almost $4,000 a month. So nothing crazy here. All he's doing, again, paying himself first. So instead of taking that savings and paying off debts, he's taking that and putting it into a banking system that he owns and operates and he controls. He's then paying the debts off and then paying himself back with interest, just like he was paying the banks, and recapturing and recycling the money back to his banking system. It's very simple. So the thing about this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So think about this. For 3 years, he's put in $25,000 into his banking system, 75 grand, right? He's used of his policy, 14,000, 16,000, and 25,000. It's about $55,000, right? So how much does he have left in his policy, his banking policy? 20 grand, right? No, he still has $75,000 in his banking system. So the beauty of it is he's borrowing against his money. Again, he's paying himself first. So that money is sitting there compounding and growing tax-free. He's just borrowing against it. So it's still sitting there compounding and growing tax-free. It's a beautiful thing. So since it's a marathon, not a sprint, here's the thing. Puts in 25 grand, again, has access to even more than the year before. He was recapturing 3677. So that is the 44,000 bucks. He's got 70 grand. It's a marathon. 70 grand can't pay off the condo. So he can pay it down, but now he can't recapture this 879. Okay? Nothing changes this year. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Becoming wealthy is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying to you. Okay? So let's look at year 5 though. So puts in 25,000 into his banking system, pays himself first. Cash value of his banking system is even higher, 27 grand. And he was recapturing the 44,000 bucks. So he's got 71 grand. He can now pay off the condo and pay down the house. So he can now recapture $879 a month, which is 6.2% interest. So now $4,500 a month that this guy is recapturing into his banking system. Year 6 comes around. Here's where it gets a little tricky. In every banking system, you can only put so much in before it becomes taxable. So at this year, he can't put 25 grand anymore. He can only put in 10. But look at this. He puts in 10 and has access to 13. That's crazy. I mean, what bank would you not want to go to and put in 10,000 bucks if they would immediately say, hey, guess what? You put in 10,000, but you can use 13. Crazy. You're going to keep putting money in that banking system. So he does that, and he just starts another banking system. 25,000 bucks, has access to about 15. As you can see, that is $54,000 he's recapturing. So altogether, he's got 82,000 bucks. Again, 13,000 from this one banking policy, about 15,000 from the second one, 55,000, let's call it, that he's been recapturing of his money. That's almost 83 grand. That can pay off the house now. So his house is completely paid off in 6 years instead of 19. He didn't pay one penny extra. He didn't work any harder. He didn't work any longer. He simply did 3 things. He controlled who was getting his money by paying himself first. 2, he paid himself back with interest. So if he paid off debts that he was once paying interest on, simply paid himself back what he was paying them. And he recycled and recaptured that money back to his banking system. That's it. Doing those 3 things got him out of debt in 6 years opposed to 19. So this is the solution for America. Quite simple. Now, the banking system that I'm referring to in this video is nothing more than a specifically designed whole life insurance policy. Most people think, like, why in the world would I use a whole life insurance policy? Well, quite frankly, it's guaranteed to compound and grow, like I mentioned. It'll never stop growing. That's a contractual guarantee. The reason for this is insurance companies, they are very smart with money. They don't do risky things with money. They do things that they know are going to work long term. They're playing the long game. If they insure you as a person, they're betting on you living for a long time. So they're thinking, we're not going to have to pay this death benefit for a long time. We can take premiums and make money off them. So they do very sound investments to make a return so that they can, 1, pay the death benefits, but also so they can pay you interest, so they can give you guaranteed growth on your money. So when you put money into a policy premiums, those are growing into your death benefit over time. And it's on a guaranteed basis. So that's part of the reason we use specially designed whole life. Another reason is these companies have been profitable every single year for over 100 years. So think about that. If you're going to put your money somewhere to compound and grow tax-free, wouldn't you want to do it with a place that always makes money, always is profitable? These companies are profitable every single year since the Great Depression, World War I, World War II, the Civil War. Even during those times, they were profitable. Another reason we use them is it's protected against lawsuits and judgments. So you put your money there. If you've got millions of dollars in your banking system, nobody can touch it. It is a private contract between you and the insurance company. So your money is safer there than anywhere else. It's with the most stable companies in the nation that have been in business for hundreds of years, and it's protected against lawsuits and judgments. Another reason we use them is because when you die, which is a guaranteed thing, you are going to pass away at some point. You just don't know when. When you die, your family gets a tax-free death benefit, which is a multiple of what you have put into your policy over time. So you're using the policy not as a death benefit. You're using it as a banking system. It just happens to give your family a death benefit when you die. So it's the best product there is for infinite banking. That's what this is, infinite banking. It's one way to use it. It's an amazing way to use it because, as you can tell, America is in a lot of trouble with debt. So it can help you get out of debt without working any harder, without working any longer, just simply controlling who's getting your money, being the bank in your own life. So I hope you guys got value from this. If you did, go ahead and drop a comment of what your favorite part was. If you have questions, put comments so I can answer them. And pay this forward. Share with other people that could use this knowledge. The more you guys do that, the more we can help people around this great nation. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Until next time, peace.